We tend to think of our skeleton as this, I don't know, this fixed, unchanging frame, right? But what if I told you that one of its most important parts, the pelvis, is actually a structure just full of stories, variations, and even some secrets? Well, in this explainer, we're going to do just that. We're taking a guided tour of this amazing, foundational part of our anatomy.
So what can your bones tell you? It seems like a simple question, but the answer is pretty incredible. Your bones can reveal your age, your sex, even hints about your lifestyle. And the pelvis? Oh, the pelvis is an absolute master storyteller. It's the key to understanding everything from nagging lower back pain to the miracle of childbirth. It's so much more than just hip bones. Okay, so let's start with the big picture. For just a second, forget about all the individual bones and think about the pelvis as this single, powerful unit, the pelvic ring. This thing is an architectural marvel. It connects your spine to your legs, it cradles your internal organs. It's really the true core of our entire structure.
This powerful ring is formed by the sacrum at the back and the pubic bones which meet at the front. And for doctors, for radiologists, this isn't just some bone structure. It's a critical landmark. It's the main reference point for pretty much everything happening in your lower torso. It is, quite literally, the foundation our upper body rests on.
But here is where it gets really interesting. This pelvic ring isn't just one big open space. There's a simple, almost invisible line that divides the whole thing into two completely different zones, and each one has its own name and a very different job to do.
So that dividing line, it's called the ilopectinal line. Think of it as this kind of imaginary boundary. It runs from the sacral promontory, that's just the bony ledge at the very top of your sacrum, all the way around to the front of your pubic bone. It's basically like the pelvic equator, separating the north from the south.
And here's why that line matters so much. Everything above that line is what we call the false pelvis, which is really just the lower part of your abdomen. But everything below the line, that's the true pelvis, and that's the cozy little bowl where all the pelvic organs are housed. It's pretty amazing how one simple line can define two totally different functional spaces in the body.
All right, so we've got the basic blueprint down. But, just when you think anatomy is all neat and tidy, it throws us a curveball. It turns out that the textbook model of having 5 vertebrae in our lower back, well, it isn't the only design out there. Our bodies actually love to remix the spine. So one of these remixes is called lumbarization. This is what happens when the very first piece of the sacrum, we call it the S1 vertebra, decides, you know what, I'm not going to fuse with my neighbors. Instead, it acts like a 6th lumbar vertebra. This essentially gives a person an extra moving part in their lower back. And this isn't just some fun fact for anatomy nerds. Having this extra bit of mobility can sometimes change the mechanics of how your spine handles weight, which, for some people, can unfortunately contribute to lower back pain and other spinal issues.
And of course, the opposite can happen too. This is called sacralization. It's where the last lumbar vertebra, L5, gets a little too friendly with the sacrum and actually fuses to it, either partially or all the way. This effectively reduces the number of movable vertebrae you have in your lower back. So let's just break that down real quick. Normal is 5 movable lower vertebrae. Lumbarization gives you 6, and sacralization leaves you with 4. It's just a powerful reminder that there's really no single correct human blueprint. Our bodies are constantly adapting and showing up with all sorts of variations.
Now let's talk about maybe the most well-known variation of all, the difference between the male and female pelvis. And we're not talking about minor tweaks here. These are major architectural redesigns. Each one is built for a very, very different primary purpose.
Just look at the comparison. A male pelvis is generally heavier, with more rugged spots for larger muscles to attach. But the female pelvis, it's all about creating space. The inlet, the opening at the top, is wider and more oval-shaped. The angle at the front is much broader. Every single one of these changes is a brilliant evolutionary adaptation designed to make childbirth possible.
So you might be asking, why does any of this matter? Well, because this isn't just abstract anatomy from a textbook. Understanding your own unique blueprint, whether you have a variation in your spine or how your particular pelvis is shaped, it's absolutely fundamental. It can be the key to figuring out chronic pain or making sure a pregnancy goes safely. Our internal architecture really does shape our entire life. So if you remember anything from this, remember these key things. The pelvis is split into a true and a false region. Our spines don't all follow the exact same plan, and variations are surprisingly common. And of course, male and female pelvises are just masterclasses in how anatomy adapts for function.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. When you see all these variations, like lumbarization or sacralization, it really makes you wonder, is what we call normal anatomy actually the standard? Or is it simply the most common variation on a wonderfully diverse human theme? Thanks for joining me.